headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is EntreLeadership, where I take calls from leaders like you about what it takes to win at any stage of business and leadership. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host with over 30 years of experience leading in the trenches right alongside you. If you've got a question you want to ask on the show, fill out the form at EntreLeadership.com/ask. Or call and leave us a note, and we'll get back to you and get you on the show. The phone number is 844-944-1070. That's 844-944-1070. We're glad you're here. Luke is with us in Alabama. Hi, Luke. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm the owner of a dog resort. We'll do about $1.4 million in revenue this year. And my question is, how do I instill an ownership mindset into my team?
Wow. Well, there's a lot of things involved in doing that at Ramsey. One thing is compensation. As much as you can, let them be rewarded when there's profit, and let them feel the pinch when there's not. So they have incentive to keep expenses down and revenues up. And we talk about that a lot around here because we have a profit sharing program that we developed. On something as small as you're doing, you could keep it very informal and say, hey guys, we had a great month because you did, and give some examples of something that caused revenue to go up or expenses to go down. And so I'm going to give everybody a $100 handshake or whatever, right? How many team members have you got?
We have 6 full-time and then about 20 part-time.
Okay. Much harder with the part-time because they're more transient and they're not there as much. You don't keep them as long. The turnover's higher and you don't keep them as long. So that's a harder thing, but you just kind of build it in. So one of our core values on the wall is we're all self-employed. We have a self-employed mentality, and we talk about what that means a lot. So one is you do it with compensation. 2 is you do it, with like a manager on the compensation side. If you're one of your senior people, you actually could let them participate in the profits in some way. You could figure out a little formula to do that. But anyway, number 1's comp. Number 2 is we talk about it a lot. It's a core value. And then the third thing is you hire for it and fire for it. So when you're doing the interview to hire, you say, hey, the people on our team treat this place and our customers like they're one of the owners. We have an ownership mentality, a self-employed mentality here. How do you feel about that? Will you fit in with that? That's part of your interview questions. And you're trying to solve for that. Are they going to come in and act like they're an owner, or are they got a JOB and they're going to mail it in, come late, leave early, and steal while they're there? We call those employees, not team members. We don't want any employees. We want team members. And so if you're just looking for a place to collect a check, you got the wrong place, because we take our business seriously. People love their pets. How their pets are treated, how the customer is treated is indicative of how we're going to treat their puppy, and they care deeply about the whole experience. That's why they pay us ridiculous sums of money in a dog resort, a pet resort to put their dog up. And so we're going to treat them with ridiculously good care, and we're going to smile and we're going to enjoy doing that like we own the place. Do you want to be as part of a team like that? And tell me why, and tell me what that means to you. And that's part of your interview question scenario where you're getting into the whole thing. This is who we are, and you're not going to fit in if you're just here to collect a check. This place will spit you out, okay? We talk about that in the hire, and that runs off some people because you got people that are just like, how much you pay an hour? It's like, no, you don't get to work here. We don't talk like that, So no, we do want to tell you what you get paid, but that's it. Your first thing out of your mouth is what you get rather than what you give. No. Then the third thing is we fire for it. And so if we let someone through the hiring process, they get through the screening process, and we look up and they're just mailing it in, they got a bad attitude, they don't care, they're not got a self-employed mentality, we talk to them about it and say, hey, remember in the interview, and remember this thing on the wall that says self-employed mentality, and remember that's how everybody else here acts? Well, you're not acting that way. And a we does that. And if you want to be part of us, you want to be part of we, then you're going to do that. That's a condition of further employment. Do you want to plug in and be part of the team here and start caring about this place deeply, or are you just trying to collect a check? Because if you're trying to collect a check, we made a mistake and you made a mistake and this will be your last day. It doesn't matter to me. Which one do you want to do? And you can be
Right.
a little less blunt than that, but that's the essence of a series of difficult conversations with your team member that, depending on how long they've been there, as to how much leniency there is on that. But we first compensate for it. Second, we talk about it a lot, reinforce it. And third, we hire for it and fire for it.
Okay. That makes sense.
And if you do all of those, over time, it'll settle in. But it's not instantaneous. And you will have to constantly be polishing, meaning somebody's going to have to leave. And we're going to have to constantly, change up our interview script a little and make sure you fit into our culture and our team. And do you want to be, this is how we do it. Do you want to be a we? And you just over and over and over and over until you're sick of saying it. And about that time is when people will start hearing it.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. How long you had this?
About a little over 3 years.
Wow. You're doing great. It exploded, didn't it?
It did. A lot of people got dogs during COVID.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. I hadn't thought about that. There was like a dog shortage. Yeah, there was. You couldn't find one. Yeah. That's funny.
Yes.
I love it.
It's been growing, but seems like the more we grow, the more cracks in the foundation become visible.
Oh yeah. That's true with anything. The success magnifies the good and the bad in your organizational processes.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so that's
you get really, really strong on some things you were strong on, and the things you were weak on, you're like, whoa, we got to fix that. And my guess is that it's probably a lot harder with all your part-timers to get them on board with what we're talking about in this call than it is your full-timers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so what I'm going to start doing is kind of always think about taking a page out of the Chick-fil-A book. They've become known for a great place to send your teenager to go work, because they'll teach them how to work and teach them how to think about others and train them to say, it's my pleasure. And, a teenager that's worked at Chick-fil-A has had a good working experience, and they're probably not going to end up working at Chick-fil-A after college, right? But they still send their kid there because they've got a great reputation for that. And so you become a training ground for this issue of self-employed mentality. When you work over there, if you love animals, Luke loves animals, and Luke's good to those animals, and you're going to be good to those animals, and you're going to care, and you're going to show up, and you're going to work your butt off, and he's going to pay good, but he's also going to teach you a lot about business and customer service and pet care and whatever else, and you're going to come away with some knowledge base. So if you get a job over there, it's not just, oh, I got a teenage job. It's, oh, I got the teenage job because Luke's so good to teenagers, training them, college students, training them, giving them a positive ministry experience where they're working with people and animals and all that. It's all good. Yeah. So you got to kind of get that built into the thing from the outside looking in, and then you can start to attract part-timers that aren't just looking for a paycheck, because they're going to do the least possible work to get the paycheck if that's all they're there for, is to look for the paycheck. They're going to care the least they can get away with if they're just there looking for a paycheck. So, very good question, sir. Sounds like you got a great business going on. I love it, man. I'm proud of you. Keep it up, and thank you so much for the call. I love entrepreneurs. Don't forget, guys, I started my company on a card table myself. So I know what it's like to have people counting on you, your team, your family, not to mention your customers. And when you're the one signing the paychecks, you can't afford to fly blind. But I'll be honest, early on, one thing that nearly sunk us was wasting time with spreadsheets that didn't add up because business units didn't talk to each other. I finally told my team, just fix it. And they did. We got NetSuite. That was years ago, and we've never looked back. See, NetSuite isn't just for tech giants. It's built for growing businesses like yours. Over 43,000 businesses already run on NetSuite, including a lot that started just like you. And now with built-in AI, NetSuite is helping them even more. It's one system connected to every part of your business for real-time insights, not guesswork. NetSuite AI flags inventory issues, cash flow risks, even supplier delays before they become problems. so you can trust the data, stop wasting time, and make the right decisions faster. Take a free product tour today at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Listen up, your business won't grow until you do. When you lead better, your people perform better, and your business wins bigger. That's why you've got to come to our next Entree Leadership Summit. It's the premier event for leaders in North America who are serious about growth. You're going to spend 4 days getting insights from world-class leadership experts, including my friend Will Guidara, the New York Times best-selling author of the book Unreasonable Hospitality. Vanessa Van Edwards, the national best-selling author of Captivate, The Science of Succeeding with People. Brian Buffini, founder of North America's largest real estate coaching company and one of the most popular speakers we've ever had at Entree Leadership Summit. Duncan Wardle, former head of innovation and creativity at Disney, and more, including my friend Pat Lencioni, one of our most popular speakers. He comes back almost every year. And the best part is it all happens at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort in Orlando. To join us May 17 through 20 of 26, visit EntreLeadership.com/summit or click the link in the show notes. Manny is in Dallas. Hi, Manny. How are you?
Doing well, Dave. How about yourself?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Well, I have a HVAC business that's growing. We started in 2021. We have a team about 3 to 4 with my wife and myself included. And we're actually going through a divorce currently. And I'm trying to figure out how to proceed going through this divorce, really, because the way that the business is set up is she's actually 98% owner of the business, and I'm 2% owner. And our CPA told us to set it up this way for tax purposes. She mentioned there's no point of both of us getting taxed when the money's going to the same account. Well, now that we are going through this divorce, I'm not sure because there's been very limited communication between us now. And even though she was the 98% owner, I did 98% of the work. And all I want from this business or from this divorce is the business. And I'm letting her know, hey, you can keep everything, the house, the bank accounts. I just want the business. And she just keeps telling me, I don't know. So I'm at the point where I'm either going to dissolve the business and start something new, or depending on what she wants to do, depending on our mediation. I don't want to dissolve our business because we already have government contracts, several contracts, government, private, residential. We have a lot of contracts already. So that's my question in a nutshell.
I'm sorry. So I take it she used to work there and she doesn't now?
Well, she doesn't. She doesn't do anything. She's supposed to, but I haven't seen any activity on her end as far as the government contract.
Yeah. How long has this been going? How long has she been out of there?
I would say now about since October. She's been completely off hands of the business.
What happened to your marriage, honey?
I didn't prioritize our marriage. I was very selfish, I would say, and I think I prioritized more of the business. Even before starting the business, I always prioritized work, and I felt, providing and giving, providing a roof, food. I thought that was enough, but I'm realizing now that's not enough. I needed to pour into my relationship, and I wasn't doing that.
Okay. So the mediation is called for about a week from now. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that works. And all right. So, well, at that point, you're going to know what you're going to have to do, right? She's
Right.
either going to agree with you take the business and she takes everything else in the mediation, or you're going to have to go get a job or start your own heating and air business and contact each of the contracts and let them know that the other thing's probably going out of business.
Correct.
Do they want to move their contracts over to you?
Yeah, and that's I'm more than likely that will happen. That's the thing I don't want to do because I'm already established and.
Well, you won't have a choice, honey. If you can't
Right.
get this resolved, you're going to have to go do something. You can't just sit with her owning it and you working there.
Right.
That's not going to work.
No, that it won't. And I have.
So she's either going to give you the business or you're going to close it and start another one and move your contracts over, which is a pain in the butt. But that's what divorce is. It's a pain in the butt.
Right. It is. And then, well, I guess going forward, depending on what happens, either if I do end up getting the business 100% or dissolving, starting something new, I have my brother he works for me. He's as an employee, but I want to bring him in as a partner.
No, you don't. You've had enough partners, huh? Did you not get enough of this already? No, he's not a partner. He just works for you, period. No. Good Lord. That's what you're just going through is breakup of a partnership.
Right.
And the divorce is nasty, but no, I mean, this is even nastier. No, you don't need your brother being your partner. If you want to share some of the profits with him as part of his comp plan, that's okay, but there's no need for him to be your partner. You guys don't have anything. It's just two guys in a truck.
Right.
We don't need partnership. You just need to go make some money. Go get some deals.
Which is not a problem. I can do that easily.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you need a partner.
Okay. Which is something that I already kind of like promised him. And
well, just tell him you made a mistake.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't do that. I will share some of the profits with you, but I can't share the ownership with you. I got burned on this divorce thing, and I've got to keep the ownership in my name.
Okay. Staying in that page, which quite honestly, I feel comfortable with that. I guess I feel some keeping in mind on how he will feel, but how would I go with sharing the profits with him? Because I do want to share the profits not only with him, but my
you need
other
to do a
employee.
profit and loss statement each month, close the month out, and look at how much profit you made, and you can share some of it with him.
Okay, which is something that I definitely need to work on because that's something that my wife worked on. And that was my mistake for not looking at the books. She did all that.
Yeah, you'll have to learn to run the books, not just run the truck.
Right.
That's part of your stage because you're back at the treadmill operator stage, and in order to make your moves through the stages of business, your next thing is to delegate and to get proper books set up, proper accounting set up, budgets set up, so you know what you can pay, how you can pay, and what your profits are. Plus, that also tells you if you're estimating your jobs properly. So if you got tickets coming in and you're not even making what the ticket costs you to do. We didn't make back parts and labor even because we didn't estimate the job high enough, then you can reset that. You don't know all of that if you're not doing a set of books and closing the books every time. So, yeah, you got a lot of stuff on your plate that's going to land there that you're going to have to get a lot better at really quickly. And so you may want to jump on EntreLeadership.com, get one of our coaches in your corner, help them work you through this as you go along. But a week from now, when you get out of that mediation, you will know where you stand with the existing entity. Do you need to go start your own and then contact the customers to move the contracts, or is she going to hand it over to you? It's a pretty simple thing because she's not going to run it and she's going to have nothing. Tell the mediator that because I'm not going to work there and I'm going to move all the contracts. So tell the mediator she's not going to get anything. If she, all she's going to do is put this one entity out of business, and the next morning I'll be opening a different name. So it's up to her. But it's kind of silly. And if you've got kids and you got child support, she's going to want you profitable so that you can pay the child support and so forth. So that's where we're looking at. So, hey, Manny, I'm sorry you're going through that. I can hear the pain in your voice. It's a hard time for you. And it's confusing and it clouds up everything. You can't get your work done because we don't think about anything else when we're in the middle of stuff like that. I'm sorry. Our question of the day comes from Corey in Fort Lauderdale. Dave, I run a small service-based business, and our margins have been tightening lately with rising costs. I want to stay profitable, but I also don't want to cut in places that hurt my team or our customer experience. When money gets tight, what are the first expenses a business owner should take a hard look at, and what should be off limits? Actually, I look at it the other way. I don't look at what expenses there are. I look for revenue opportunities. What other lines of business do I need to add, and how do I raise my prices? Because if you're running a service-based business and your margins are tightening because costs are going up, that means you did not raise your prices. And everybody else in your business raised their prices because they didn't want their margins tightening. So rising costs generally mean rising prices for the delivery. That's true. So like we're printing a book on the 5 stages of business, building a business you love. It costs a lot more to print that book now with paper costs than it did 10 years ago. If I'd done that book 10 years ago, it would have cost half what it costs now to produce that book. So what do? I raise the price on the book. Hardback books are now $32. They used to be $22. And before that, they were $17. And so, but that's based on the cost of the production of the book and the soft costs it takes to develop and put out a book, service-based stuff. So same thing. So we raised the price. And so did everybody else, by the way. So look on Amazon. Average hardback book in the self-improvement space is about $32, $34. And that's kind of shocking to me because it was $22, $24 forever. And before that, it was $17, and before that, it was $12. So, but that's all based on rising costs. And so generally, people raise prices when their cost of production, cost of providing the service goes up. Case in point, a hotel, to hire maids and to hire servers in the restaurant and to hire front desk people, it costs them a whole lot more than it did before COVID just 5 years ago. So guess what? Your hotel room costs a lot more. Ta-da! And you know what we call that? Inflation. That's what we call it. That's where it comes from. So, this is, increased tariffs do not cost companies money. Companies raise prices equal to tariffs. And so they pass the tariff cost on to the customer. Increased costs do not cost companies money. They pass it on to the customer in the form of higher prices. That's basic econ. And that's what you're going to need to do first, Corey. Secondly, look at a different way to some other services or other products you can add to your line to create more revenue. And then I don't have to look at what I cut. What is it I cut? Because you're probably not, I run a small service-based business. You probably don't have a lot of fluff. You probably don't have a lot of overhead that's just miscellaneous stupid stuff. But go through your P&L every month and go, where's every dollar going? Is every dollar an investment? Is every dollar helping us raise the bar here? Is every dollar what it takes to provide it? Or are we spending $500 to put a green plant in the lobby? Well, I can do away with that maybe, but nobody's ever in the lobby. Hello. So, I don't know. What is it? For something like that, that's fine, but that's usually not what causes success. Most businesses managing expenses and turning them only into investments causes success, but not cutting expenses. You can't cut your way into success, usually. There's a few times that comes up that's possible, but most of the time that's not it. So generally speaking, it's an increase in revenue from prices going up and extra lines being added. And then go through the P&L with a fine-tooth comb and see what tangles are in there that you can untangle. But in a small business, I don't run into entrepreneurs that are extremely wasteful in a small business. Waste comes when things get big and it gets bureaucratic and people don't think about what they're spending because they think the company's got plenty of money and they just that's when waste happens. But when you're small and scrappy, most of the team is small and scrappy with the expenses. They're not out of control because they know that means the place stays open that hired them. And that's a big, big deal there. So good question, Corey. We appreciate you joining us from Fort Lauderdale. Well, if you like what you're hearing, you can help us out by following the show or subscribing to the show or leaving a nice 5-star review. Those 1 stars are not helpful, you trolls, okay? Sharing it, if you don't like us, just leave, okay? It's okay, we can handle it. Sharing it with a friend, telling people this is a great show. Send a little share button push all that kind of stuff. Cut out the link and send it to somebody. Go, this is the thing right here, man. Hey, let people know that we're here. You're our best and our only marketing. So let people know that we're here, please. Thank you for doing that. If you want to be part of the show, call me at 844-944-1070. That's 844-944-1070. Steve is with us in Denver. Hey, Steve, what's up?
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
I'm the owner of a childcare business with 60 employees that does about $3 million in revenue. As I enter the trailblazer stage of business, other colleagues in my industry tell me to hire virtual assistants to help with operational efficiency and to help me scale faster. My head sees this as an opportunity, but my heart feels unsure because I can't have the same leadership impact with a virtual assistant. So my question is, am I crazy to value in-person leadership impact over operational efficiency when considering a virtual assistant?
No, we don't have any virtual assistants at Ramsey. And you're big enough that you don't need one. With 60 people, you need your assistant on site. The CEO of an organization that size running $3 million, you need somebody on site. That's what I would do anyway. You're asking me. Now, I'm not against virtual assistants as a concept. We actually endorse a company that does that. And they've supported us for years. We've supported them for years. But there's a time and place for that, and it generally is when you're at the treadmill stage and you can't afford to have somebody there. You don't have a location even that can hold enough people to, your fourth employee is usually not a personal assistant, right? That kind of thing. But you got 60 people working there, and you're running $3 million a year. You said $3 million, right?
Yeah, and all of my employees are with the children. They're all on operations.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all the marketing, the finance, HR, all of that.
Yeah, you absolutely need somebody in your corner. And they need to be a high level. They don't need to be it's not somebody answer the phone and write letters. It's people help you with these actual HR issues, somebody help you with the marketing issues. They can implement some of the things you're talking about. They're like your right arm, in other words, rocket fuel. And so, I think that's even more reason that they need to be in person, personally. But you're talking to the guy who doesn't do work from home.
Right.
We don't have a single person working from home.
Would you start with an executive assistant?
I'm sorry?
Would you start with an executive assistant?
I would, in person. Yeah. I would not do a virtual. And for all the reasons you outlined when you opened the call, it's the same thing we believe here. Now, again, what I'm trying to say, though, is that's not to say just because you don't need one and I don't need one that there's not a place for some virtual assistants. There is a place for that, but yours is not. You definitely need a high quality executive assistant in there that understands marketing lingo quickly, understands HR lingo quickly, and they're not a glorified secretary. They are actually helping you run the business, almost as if they're an assistant manager, so to speak.
That makes sense.
Because you got all these plates you're spinning. You're the only one spinning the operations side. The actual product delivery is the only thing your employees do. You do all the back office by yourself.
Right.
That's what you said. So that's why we know you need somebody that can help you do all of that, not just answer your correspondence. It's not like a 1950s secretary that brings you coffee and types letters. It's not what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
This is someone that really has some business acumen and comes in. You're probably going to pay them a little bit more, and they're probably going to be worth it, though. Because you probably got enough plates spinning with what you're describing in enough different major areas of the business that you might be dropping some stuff here or there that they pick up, and it probably is going to increase your profitability.
Yeah, so what would you look for in an executive assistant?
I would like, in this case, for someone, I'm just making this up as we're talking. I haven't put a lot of thought into it, but I would almost like someone that had run their own business in the past.
Interesting.
And maybe even a little bit older person. So because, someone just out of college doesn't have the business acumen to help you with these different elements, right? And if they've run their own business before, they've dealt with some basic marketing things, or they've dealt with some, maybe they ran a little marketing business that failed, and they're just looking for a place to land that's safe and work for a good guy and come in and join a thing and take care of kiddos, and that's a good mission for them to come in and bring some of their knowledge base to help you do some of these things. Because I'm just thinking somebody has a little bit of marketing knowledge, a little bit of HR knowledge, a little bit of where they can actually kind of be your right arm, not just somebody that fetches coffee.
Yeah, that would sound really nice.
Yeah. And again, you be willing to pay 10 or 20 grand more a year and get the right person, because they're going to take some of this off of you, and I think it's going to increase your revenues and decrease your costs, because you're going to have another set of eyes looking at operating the entire business. You're the only one looking at the whole thing right now. And if you get this, it's almost an assistant manager's role, or a VP role, if you will. I would not advertise it that way, but that's how I'd be thinking about when I'm interviewing and hiring and pushing my way through it. That's how I'd go at it. You're a good man, Steve. It's going to work out good for you. Proud to have you in our audience, sir. Very well done. Remember, folks, better a weary warrior than a quivering critic. This world needs more high-quality leaders, so take courage and lead. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thanks for joining us on Entree Leadership.